Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you a wrap of stocks that appear attractive on the charts. I am Neeraj Shah. Let's welcome our experts on the show. Joining us are Brijesh Bhatia of Dealmoney Securities, Raja Venkatraman of Chart Advice, and technical analyst and mentor NS Fidai. You of course see them on various shows on the platform, but on Hot Money, all three of them together. Before we begin the discussion with our analysts though, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who's a chart of Godfrey Phillips. Yash, interesting that we're starting this edition of Hot Money Technicals with a chart of Godfrey Phillips. Why this one?
That's right now, Neeraj, because what we've seen in today's day of trade is on the back of higher than average volumes, the stock has seen a big up move. It is in fact trading 3.5% higher from its yesterday's closing price, and on the back of that, the stochastics indicator, which is a momentum oscillator, that has given a positive buy signal on the counter. So the lower panel over here, that is the stochastics indicator, and that too has given a positive crossover. As you can see, it has crossed above the white line, which indicates a buy signal from the current levels. So watch out for Godfrey Phillips at about 11:45 right now.
Okay, so the stochastics indicating a buy on Godfrey Phillips. Yash, thanks so much for bringing that to us. Any of you, if you look at Godfrey Phillips even remotely, if you have a view here, any of you?
Yeah, actually, incidentally, just 2 weeks back, I recommended a buy somewhere in the region of 1100, and the stock has traded well. It's already met the first target. And like Yash rightly pointed out, the stock is poised for more upside because the MACD momentum indicator, that's suggesting that there's some strong upside which is more visible in the region of around 1200 to 1225. So overall setup is looking good, and after forming a double bottom on the weekly charts, the prospects are definitely bullish.
Okay, Brijesh, you differ?
Yeah, no, I agree with him because if you look at the momentum, which was very strong in the recent rally and the recent dip, which was a couple of days back, that has retraced exactly at 23.6% Fibonacci number, and so it's taking at 21 days average now, and it's moving up the northward journey. So I think a good bullish setup is there in Godfrey Phillips.
Okay. Do you differ or do you concur?
Actually, I agree with both of them. But right now, it needs to cross 1200 with conviction. If it does that, you can even expect it to go to 1300, 1350 also on the higher side.
Interesting. While we are at it, since we are talking about Godfrey Phillips, any of the other tobacco stocks that look attractive on the chart?
also looks good. VST looks very good on the charts.
Okay.
You can think of going long for VST also.
Okay, so VST Industries, the other one that looks good. It's not a stock that has volumes per se, but NS Fidai believes that VST Industries too looks good. So Godfrey Phillips, VST Industries, I mean, ignore ITC, a lot more than just cigarettes there, but both of these stocks look fairly attractive. Okay, let's begin our chart discussion with our experts and start with Brijesh Bhatia, who has a chart on Motherson Sumi. Let me go across and ask Brijesh to come in at the wall as well. Motherson Sumi, after a long time, I'm seeing a bullish call coming in on this one. Yeah. Brijesh, why do you like this?
Yeah, so if you look at the last time we had a session, we had discussed Yes Bank, right, at around 170, 75 for the target of around 250, right? So it's being there. And if you look at the similar setup, they discussed with Yes Bank, similar setup has been there in Motherson Sumi as well. So if you look at the recent fall, okay, this was the most climax selling, because if you look at the consistent selling volume over here, okay, this has ended and market was trading in a long range over here. Now if you look at the support was breached here, okay, if you look at this momentum over here, after a support breach, there was no continuation of bearish momentum over here. Now if you look at the reversal over here and look at the volumes that are picking up on the downside, okay, the continuous buying momentum over here with strong volumes. Now if you look at the recent dip, which has again taken a support at previous lows, okay, now look at the volumes over here. Volumes were really dried out. Now if you look at again the reversal coming up on the upside, look at the volumes now picking up. So it's clearly indicating that someone is strongly accumulating. The larger players are slow and steady accumulating the stocks, which was similarly seen in Yes Bank at around 150, 170 zone. Now if you look at the monthly chart of the Motherson Sumi, okay, look at the monthly chart right from here, okay, every dip is around 50, 55%. Every time a dip is there, this was around 50%, 53%. Look at the recent dip, it was exactly 52%, and this is the monthly chart. So now look at the reversal over here. It was clearly a piercing, and if you look at the RSI, RSI has been consistently taking supports at around 35-40 zone, 40 zone, 40 zone, And recently, if you look at the recent momentum, it is being again showing a sharp reversal from 40 zone. So if you look at the monthly plus daily and weekly charts, they are slow and steady accumulation. Large players are continuously accumulating this stock in the range of around 140 and 150 zone. So I think this is a good 6 months bet one can look at for the target of around 225 on the upside.
Okay, there has been one instance though where the dip was almost 68% too. But this was
slightly 68%.
You're talking about the recent times, the larger dips have been 50%.
Yeah, but if you look at the similar setup over here on the monthly chart, look at this candle, look at the RSI back from the support zone. Okay, similarly, the dip, the reversal, RSI.
Okay. So you're combining factors.
Yeah, I'm combining RSI and both the falls, the 50% zone.
I just have one follow-up, Brijesh.
Yeah.
When you spoke about Yes Bank, there was a slightly longer-term target to it, like 175 to 250 and northwards.
Yeah.
In Motherson Sumi, while we are talking about the supports being taken at those RSI levels, they point towards a short-term bounce, if I'm not wrong. Do you also envisage a slightly longer-term pullback into Motherson Sumi?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in case this trend continues for 1 year, I think this could be again 300 level stock from here on. It could be nearly doubler from here.
Okay. Great. Brijesh, thanks so much. Interesting charts out here for Motherson Sumi. Gentlemen, the two of you, do you agree, disagree with any strong agreement or any strong disagreement with what Brijesh said?
Seriously, not a strong disagreement, but I would prefer to buy a little bit lower, around 144, and keep a stop loss at 140. Okay. And on the higher side, it needs to cross 160 to actually gain momentum. Once it crosses 160, you can expect to 178, 180. In
are you looking at some different indicators which lead you to believe?
No, I'm actually looking at supports which are being formed on the trend line in extreme short term, and there is a resistance. This area is a mean reversion area. The stock keeps on coming to this area often, around 140, 144. So that is the reason I'm looking at the stock should hold 140. If it doesn't hold 140, then there is it can go further down and maybe test 125, 127 also. But hopefully I don't think that will happen. But on the higher side, to gain momentum, the stock needs to cross 160. Okay. Once it does that, probably you can see 180 also in extreme short term.
Okay. Raja, any quick thoughts here?
Yeah, the momentum is definitely on the reversal, but I would expect it to cross 160. Otherwise, the momentum indicators are just on the bend. So I'll be a neutral here, and I would be looking on the buying side only above 160.
And that's what makes this so beautiful, isn't it? Brijesh has a buy call right now. NS Fidai wants to buy it at a lower price. Raja is saying he wants to buy it only when the prices move higher. So that's what makes it so very interesting. Okay, Raja, let's get you in though with your strategy on BPCL. Now, why are you choosing this one?
Yeah, especially there's some movement in the oil space, oil and gas space, and the OMCs are of course the favorites once the oil begins to show some traction. And the movement which we have seen in the oil counter, especially in the month of March, you saw some profit booking out here, and I have used the concept of Fibonacci, and it has come to a very good support at 61.8. It's a nice support area. And out here on the daily chart, you are seeing a bullish engulfing pattern, which is a strong reversal pattern. And from there on, you're witnessing some upside. Today, market being a little soft, the stock has not moved down though, but it's still holding on because it's a crucial support line. And even if you go traverse back, around this region is actually a good value area support. So around the 349 to 350 zone is a good area, and that's why it acts as a good stop loss, a low risk area, and for a potential upside.
Sorry, just a basic question. Where in the past has it taken support at these levels?
See,
that
around
you're
these levels
to?
here.
Okay, but that's not a support area, right? From there it's actually come off.
For example, I'm saying the resistance area, the resistance has now become support.
Okay.
So if you see here, the rise happened and the price was not able to cross this. Once it crossed, you saw a long body candle here.
Okay, fine.
Similarly, when it came down, it did dip below, but then again it reclaimed it. So that's why around the 350 mark is a good area for as a stop loss.
Just wondering, when you're using this for BPCL, are you taking into any kind of, are you giving any importance to crude prices as well? Do you have a view on crude coming off as a result of which BPCL could do well, or it's not connected?
Crude has, there is a correlation. Right. It's a highly correlated.
So do you envisage crude prices coming off as well on the charts?
Not so much.
Not so much, but you still expect BPCL to do well?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. As per the Fibonacci.
Yes, and the momentum indicators are also taking a support at 50 levels. And from here, you can expect it to rebound. So that's the overall setup is it's a good short-term trade.
Okay, a short-term trade by Raja. Brijesh, any thoughts here on BPCL?
Yeah, I agree with him. If you look at the fall from around 400 to now around 350 sort of, and it is, if you look at the weekly chart, the point that he has connected from lows to lows, if you just draw the trend line, it is giving a strong support over around 340-45. And I think if you look, as you discussed the crude price, I'm expecting crude to slightly take a dip, because if you look at the crude, it has been trading in rising channel, multiple channel, and it's formed at the bearish pattern has formed right at the top of the channel. So I think crude might take a slight dip, and if you look at the BPCL chart, it's been taking a strong support. So I'm expecting around 378 back on BPCL.
Okay, NS Fidai, would you be a buyer?
Because this was my bullish call last week, I suppose, or just like a few days back in Bloomberg only. And I had given a support area of 340. So right now it looks like 345, 340 could be a good area still to go long. And on the higher side, I still continue with my bullish call up to 380. So yes, the stock has a huge potential to go up to 380, but could be a buy on dips rather.
Okay.
Around 340, 345 should be a good area to add.
Okay, we'll watch out. Since we are on that topic, NS, may I request you to come in and talk about your strategy as well. Of course, the stock in focus is the stock in news, Indiabulls Real Estate. It's a risky proposition, NS. You're taking a bet on a stock which could move either direction.
It has moved up 10% after, I made this chart yesterday itself.
Oh, okay.
So now it is almost like 10% up. If you see this, the stock was consolidating very strongly in this area. And it was almost like this is a weekly chart. And if you see, it was a major breakout of the long-term trend line. Okay, this is the long-term trend line that we are talking about, and it just gave a breakout there with very huge volumes. Now, if you see this, there is a cup and handle kind of pattern here, and then this breakout happened. Again, that is again a positive sign, because you can, if you want to see how to take targets for cup and handle, you check out the trough size. Okay, so if you check the trough size is almost like suggesting almost 40 rupees.
What is the trough size? Sorry.
This.
Acha, the gap between the line and the bottom price. And the bottom price. Okay.
Because that's how means you look at it, a cup and a handle kind of thing.
Okay.
So this is a technical analysis pattern which you call as a cup and handle, and you usually watch out for a breakout with good volumes. Now, last 3 days, the stock has jumped from 90 rupees to almost today 121, 122. It has come to this area. Now, anybody who wants to buy, it would be I can only give a follow-up on this. I expect the targets of 124 and 140 in extreme short term. Why 140? Can we see the daily chart? Yeah. So if you see this here, there is a multiple touch points here. The stock had fallen very strongly after taking support at 140 continuously. If you see here, it was a continuous support, and after that a huge fall. Very strong fall. The stock had fallen very sharply, and then again consolidated in this area for almost 6 to 9 months, and now has given a breakout. Though there are news on this counter, but the news is also backed by the strong volumes and price movement. So usually what I have looked at is this is the positive, 140 is positively possible in extreme short term. Why 140? Because this area where people were stuck, who are holding the stock, they would want to have an exit.
Okay.
So that is the reason 140.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Either of you, any thoughts here on Indiabulls Real Estate?
I think it is a strong bullish breakout, and if you look at the range, it has been moving out of the range for last nearly after the 6 months. And most importantly, if you look at the 200 days average, last it has tested or above the 200 day average was in May 2018. So nearly 11 months now, and it has moved above the zone. And look at the recent momentum, volumes are very, very strong. Though at 115, 117 would be a slightly riskier bet to go long. I would wait for a dip to around 507, then go long for the target of 138.
Okay, Raja, any thoughts?
I would also be a buyer on dips. There was a good support region around like 103, 105, like you rightly pointed out. So a dip into that region you could actually experience some buying interest again coming in, and you could see a move towards the region of 125 to 130.
Okay, let's begin our second round of discussion, stock discussions, and let's get in Brijesh Bhatia yet again, who has a recommendation on Tata Motors. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, before we start this, which is a stronger one? Is it Tata Motors or is it Motherson Sumi? Both are auto-related.
Yeah, if you look at the momentum, Tata Motors as a good bet. But if you look at the 1 year or 6 months down the line, Motherson Sumi has a good risk reward.
Okay, so let's talk about the momentum. Tata Motors.
Yeah. So if you look at Tata Motors, the weekly chart, the stock has given a breakout of the falling trend line. So if I just connect from the 1 year falling trend line, stock has given a strong breakout. Most importantly, if you look at the MACD below the integer line, positive crossover. Plus, if you look at the histogram, it is giving the positive side. And most importantly, if you look at the weekly volumes,
So I was wondering, where is the crossover that you're seeing out here?
This is the positive crossover.
Okay.
Already
It
it's
happened
given a
in
positive
December. It's already happened.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's already happened. And now its histogram is also gaining a strong momentum. And most importantly, if you look at the weekly volumes. Okay, weekly volumes are one of the highest weekly volume we have seen last week since July 2010.
Okay.
So which is again a good sign, the price volume breakout on weekly chart. Even if you look at the daily chart, so if you look at the daily chart, it is forming a big bullish head and shoulder. So it is called inverse head and shoulder, a big bullish head and shoulder. Now look at the volumes over here. Okay, price breakouts with strong volumes. Okay, so it's clearly indicating. And if you look at this consolidation, it has retested the 200 levels with the breakout, and now it's again gaining the strong momentum. And that momentum is also with strong volumes. So it's clearly indicating that the stock is moving into the new range now for a momentum-based trading, and one can expect target of around 238. I'm taking the height of this target of around 40 rupees. So it's around 238 as a target, and one can keep a stop loss of 195 on the downside.
Okay, a head and shoulder breakout seen on Tata Motors from a momentum perspective. This looks very, very strong. That is Brijesh Bhatia's conviction. Brijesh, thanks so much. Good volumes as well, by the way. I think the telling statistic was, to my mind, that on a weekly basis, the volumes are the highest that we've seen since 2010. That's like 9 years that we have not seen such kind of weekly volumes. It's been strong for sure on the charts, but either of you disagree with Brijesh?
No, don't disagree. Actually, agree with him. It's a flag breakout pattern actually. There is a strong momentum, and today also it has gone up very strongly. And I believe the stock has potential to go up to 245, 250 also.
Okay, very interesting.
Extreme short term, that too. In extreme short term.
In extreme short term. Okay, 214, currently about 4% higher in trade as well. Frankly, if you just look at Tata Motors, from the time it delivered its last quarter numbers and sank to 150 to what it's doing right now, it's been a remarkable pullback. That's about a 40% uptick. I mean, 3 months you will see from point to point, but if you look at from the lows mid-Feb, I think that's about 150 to 214. So that's nearly a 40-odd% uptick that we've seen in Tata Motors already. Raja, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts are also on similar lines. On the weekly charts, after many weeks, we are seeing a nice recovery. Like you rightly pointed out, a strong volume, positive divergence on the weekly charts, all this sets the rise for at least till 240, like Brijesh said.
Okay, there's a consensus out here. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but there's a consensus. All three experts believe that Tata Motors could be a stock to monitor. Okay, let's wait and watch what happens. Let's get Raja in, and he's got an auto-related stock as well, and that's interesting. Amara Raja Batteries, and we have the first sell recommendation on the show today. Raja, why Amara Raja?
Yeah, Amara Raja Battery, already there has been some negative news flows as well. Along the price has corresponded in line with the negative news flow, and what I have used here is a volatility band called as Bollinger Band, and that is saying that now the volatility is expanding to the downside, and this is where the whole effect started. And the momentum is not able to revive. If you see the bottom panel, if you expand the bottom panel, you will see that the RSI which I have used, it is unable to come up. So that says that there is a lot of bearish pressure which is in play, and that is actually pushing the prices down. Could you collapse this, please? You can see here that the prices are continuing to tag the lower band, which suggests that the trend is going to persist on the downside.
Okay, it's not corrected too much in the session today, so I reckon you would be comfortable selling it at the current levels.
Yeah, at current level, I'll also rally towards the region of 690.
Okay, and what are the targets that you're setting out here?
Around 625.
625, and these are extreme short-term targets, I presume?
Yeah, around
a week or 10 days?
Yeah, 10 to 15 trading sessions.
10 to 15 trading sessions. So, in a manner of speaking, slightly positional in nature too.
Yeah.
10-15 trading sessions, targets of 625.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Raja, thanks so much for getting us those updates. NS, any confirmations or differences?
The stock has, if you see a weekly chart, and if you, we see inverted cup and handle, which is a negative pattern. Just now we saw a bullish pattern which was cup and handle. Now it has made a very strong inverted cup and handle pattern, and it had given a breakdown with very strong volume. If you see on weekly charts, the volume were like record volumes for almost like you can say 5 to 7 years. And any fall below 660, 650 area, and the stock could go dive almost 200 points lower minimum. So that could be like, you can see a much bigger fall. So till it holds 660, 660, 640, 660, 670, it is it is still, you can say there is a possibility that the stock can show some kind of reversals. But if that is not held, and if you see 660, 650 happening on the chart, I would suggest an exit absolutely.
Okay, interesting. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Raja, because if you look at the charts, it has been given a strong breakdown and with good volumes. The only concern for me is if you look at, compare generally Amara Raja, and if you look at the lead charts, the commodity one, generally have 60% correlation. So if you look at the lead chart, it is not yet given the breakdown. And if in case those are the those we could see reversal, there could be a Amara Raja could be in a danger on short side. So that was the only concern for me as of now. But if you look at the Amara Raja purely a naked chart, it's good shot. Okay. But that is the only risk for me.
Okay. NS Fidai, if I can ask you to come in, and the second sell recommendation for the day today, and that's Bata. It's good to balance it out, but interesting. Bata, it's usually a strong stock.
Yeah, it has moved up very strongly. If you see, almost 9 months kept on rising continuously in this channel. And it has respected this channel very religiously. If you see this, the touch points, like this is the touch point which I had done, and if you see so many multiple touch points at the top. Now this is something that is like sort of magical on technicals, you can say, because the stock is hitting on this area and then taking a beating. But otherwise also, if you see this from here now in extreme short term within the channel also, if you use these touch points, it is almost like a rising wedge. Okay, even the RSI is very negative, showing a negative divergence on the, so that is also one indication that you can look at. So see this RSI, though prices are rising, like on the stocks, the RSI is actually dipping down. So this is a negative divergence on RSI. Can we have the normal chart, like in a stock chart, please? Yeah. Now if you see this, this is the like low that should be held right now. If it doesn't hold 1360, 1365, then the stock can fall up to 1300, and a fall below 1300 could be almost the size of the channel, which is almost 100 rupees. Then on the higher side, I would prefer to go short near to this area, which is basically where it is getting respected continuously. So like I would be happy to go short near 1450, 1460, keep a stop loss at 1470 on the upside, and like once it breaks this, I expect a strong momentum fall. And it can happen in maybe just few days itself. Okay. Like the fall from here to here up to 1300 or 1295 could happen in extreme short term.
Okay, so wait for an upside ideally.
Or on the breakdown of this line.
Or on the breakdown.
1360, 1350.
Okay, so it's 1398 currently. Either it breaks below 1360 and then go short, or wait for it to hit a level of 1450 or thereabouts and then go short on this.
Absolutely.
Okay, interesting. Conditional idea. NS Fidai, thank you so much for that. Gentlemen, now either of you have thoughts on Bata? Raja, if I can start off with you.
Yeah, Bata definitely is showing signs of exhaustion. But shorting right now would be, you can say, a bravado, because the stock is definitely on the bullish side, and momentum indicators are also not suggesting any kind of weakness.
So can it go to 1450?
Yes, potential exists.
Okay, so that's one confirmation. I mean, Raja believes that it can go to 1450. NS Fidai said that he would ideally go short at 1450, or if it breaks the 1360 level, if I'm not wrong. Okay. Brijesh, what about you?
I would look for a long bet yet till 1380, 1385 could be a good entry level for me. Still, there is a potential for around 1450, 1460 level, because if you look at the hourly chart as well, there is yet no divergence coming, or even if I look at the price chart exhaustion. But if you look at the Bata historically, it shows exhaustion, traps the short traders, and again a pullback of around 8-10% is in a quick time. So if in case those repeat, could be possibility.
Yeah, but that would be interesting if it does go to 1450, because as that line suggested, it's kind of obeyed that resistance line pretty significantly has Bata. So let's wait and watch if indeed that happens or no. Okay, so those are some ideas and interesting, very interesting charts. Gentlemen, all three of you, thank you so much for that. But before we thank you, would want your view on one more stock and one more chart, and get in Yash Upadhyay once again, and a chart on Coal India. Yash, what do the charts of Coal India indicate?
So Neeraj, what we saw in yesterday's day of trade is that the stock moved up as much as 2.5%, and we saw another follow-up in today's day of trade as well. It went up to the highest point of the day, which was where the trender line is, and it is very close now to crossing above the trender line. So the red line over here, that is the trender line, which is at the mark of 243. It currently trades at about 240. Now, should it manage to close above the trender line, it would flip its color from red to green, which would mean that there could be a significant amount of upside from here on, as we've seen in the past.
Okay, so, and just wondering, maybe I missed it, how well has this worked, the potential, return potential, because of trender?
So actually, Neeraj, when we ran the criteria of which are the stocks within 1% of trender, and there were a whole host of them, the reason I chose specifically Coal India was because it has the highest success rate. 8 out of the last 9 times that this has happened, the stock has managed to run up close to 7% over the next 1 month.
So is this a return gift for completing 2 years at Bloomberg India?
Maybe.
Okay. Thanks so much, Yash, for bringing that to our notice. That's very interesting. The terminal throwing this up and suggesting that Coal India could be a short. Brijesh, let me start off this comments with you. How does it look on the
contra side? I would be on a long side.
You'll be on a long side.
Because if you look at the chart, it's given a pendant breakout, and it might retest at around 235, 234 levels, then move upwards, resume its upward journey toward 254.
It's obeyed the trender 8 out of the last 9 times, Brijesh.
Still, I'm on a long side with a stop loss of 230.
Very interesting. Raja, what about you?
Yeah, I would also be on the long side because after weeks of decline, the stock is showing some recovery, and especially if you see over the last few weeks, there has been some considerable volume emerging at lower levels. And with a long body candle which is almost signaling a revival, I would not be a short in Coal India at the moment.
Okay, NS Fidai?
Well, I would love to buy this stock near 230, 231 and keep a stop loss just below 230, maybe 228 should be good enough. And on the higher side, I see good potential if the stock crosses up to 250, it can even jump up to 258. And between 258 260, there would be a good short opportunity there.
Can it go to 230, 231?
I doubt, but if it does come, that would be a great opportunity. But if it crosses 248, you can see 258 also. Okay,
so it's man versus machine in that sense. All the 3 experts believe they would ideally go long on short Coal India, definitely not go short on Coal India. The trender indicator indicates otherwise. Let's wait and watch what happens there. Gentlemen, all 3 of you, thank you so much for joining in today and giving us your thoughts. Really appreciate your time. And viewers, thanks for tuning into this leg of Hot Money. Up next is Ask PQ. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Live.
What is the meaning of this word suspense?